can fight our desires. But when we stop making fires.
Et salut à tous, c'est Darkio&Xelo, on se retrouve pour une vidéo sur Stanley Parable. Je suis dans les options, voici le nom. Un peu simplement, mais je vais juste un peu baisser le son. Vidéo, audio, principal. Je vais monter ici, voilà. Tac. Musique. Donc je fais après, je me prends tout seul. Je fais cela. Ensuite, audio, dialogue. Titre, dialogue. Ouais, dialogue seulement. Et nous allons commencer maintenant. Alors nous sommes le jour 3, mercredi. Je fais cette vidéo lundi 1er décembre. Je vais peut-être faire ce soir le montage pour que vous l'ayez à l'heure, ça veut dire midi. Et puis voilà. Alors le but de Stanley, c'est qu'il faut rien comprendre. Bon, de toute façon vous verrez bien. Tac, vous voici Darkio qui me propose des jeux que j'ai déjà. Bah, sauf Borderlands, les œufs forgés, voilà. Et puis c'est tout. Et puis nous allons continuer jusqu'à ce que la vidéo fasse au moins 30 minutes. Mais de toute façon, pendant le mois de décembre, il y aura encore une vidéo Stanley Parable. Je sais plus c'est quand. Bon, c'est pas tout ça, mais c'est un peu long. Loading. 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 Je vais m'endormir. Tout doucement. Tout doucement. Mais peut-être que la prochaine fois il y aura Darkio. Parce que normalement il aurait dû venir samedi ou dimanche. Il n'est pas venu parce que voilà, il est pas venu. Mais peut-être que. Attends, on est le premier. Attendez, je vais regarder. C'est juste là de toute façon. Mais peut-être que samedi 6 ou dimanche 7 il viendra. Nous allons vous bien voir. Et là je suis en train de mettre la vidéo pour qu'elle soit l'heure demain. Diversity, la suite, en gros le jour 2, je vais préciser. Diversity, épisode 7, décembre, jour 2. Je vais être paumé moi. Bon, comme je l'ai dit dans la vidéo précédente, jour mois spécial décembre, comme c'est Noël et tout, on va avoir un cadeau, voilà, moi je vais avoir un triton.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Happy!
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
C'est bon, on peut jouer. Bon, j'espère que vous avez compris le but. Il faut découvrir pourquoi ils ne sont point là. Et j'ai déjà fait quelques succès, 4 sur 10. Voilà, c'est basique. Et nous allons continuer, fermons les portes derrière nous, puisque nous sommes Nous sommes des
All of his
hommes
co-workers were
civilisés.
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Porte. Qu'elle veut pas. Attends-moi. Attends-moi. Oh. 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 Pourquoi tu veux que... Oh, merci. Et nous allons faire tout le contraire de ce qu'il dit, parce que nous sommes des méchants. Oui, je sais, je viens de dire exactement le contraire de ce
When
que j'ai dit
Stanley
avant.
came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his
Celle
left.
de gauche? Eh ben non, je suis à droite.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Oui, je veux l'admirer, regardez-moi ça.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Oh, je peux monter. Oh, je peux.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Ces tableaux. Ils sont moches, tes tableaux.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Foiré. Je vais te montrer, moi. Je regarde mes tableaux. J'ai le droit, non? Oui, du
Stanley
coup.
sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Non. Genre, il n'y a pas de message. Faut monter. Monter. Voilà. Et je peux pas sauter quand même. Complètement hop. Ah, au fait, quand j'ai E, j'ai des... comme si on tapait dessus, sur un clavier. Je vais cliquer. Mais sur les autres touches, ça fait rien. Et on se barre.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
J'ai mis le jeu en anglais, sans faire exprès. Vidéo. Non, ce point-là. Ce point-là. C'est là. Là, je dis. Ce titre. Le nom. Clavier. La scène, l'attaque, modifier touche. Il doit avoir une touche. Pause, console, tourne. Non, 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 non. Non, même pas en plus. Spécial. Pourquoi maintenant c'est en anglais? Audio. Tirer du otage, non, on dirait que ça en lui. Ok. Vidéo. Option avancée. Non, c'est bon. Reprendre. Bon, ils m'ont dit d'aller à gauche, donc non.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Ah, c'est vrai, les portes fermées derrière moi, tant pis.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you forgot. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
Oui.
I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Y'a pas de rouge? Quoi? Y'a rien. Pas de bleu? Y'a quelque chose.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
À rouge, y'a ça, c'est porte-malheur. On va un peu sur bleu. Oh, ça veut tout dire. Non, la porte rouge. Mais ça a l'air pourri parce qu'il y a un tuyau de travaillable. Et là aussi, c'est pas grave.
I still don't think we're communicating properly.
La porte rouge.
Stanley walked through the red door.
Eh ben non.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
J'ai jamais été par là. Est-ce que j'y vais? Oh, c'est un piège.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Ah, tu veux des critiques? Ah bah...
A 1? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Stanley Parable. Je vais aller à gauche.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
Allez, 5, juste pour faire plaisir.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Oh non. Il fera beaucoup ça au fait, hein, aussi, j'avais oublié. Et désolé pour encore mon ventilateur. Il m'énerve aussi, vous en faites pas.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here?
Non, pas ça.
Yes,
On a déjà connu.
this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
On a déjà connu ça. Et tout le monde le connaît. Surtout moi. Surtout vous qui regardez la vidéo. Bah, tous les vidéos. Toutes les vidéos, je veux dire. Ah, j'ai pas envie de faire ça. Pas envie. Et voilà. Et
Well,
voilà.
Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be
Un
enough?
blog.
Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house.
On a construit. Ah oui, là. Là. Je veux aller dans ta maison.
This will go here. No, here. And then...
Il y a juste à casser deux
Let's
blocs.
see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off...
Pour finir.
Yes.
Tadam.
It's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy.
Bon.
But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself
Eh
comfortable.
ouais. Le nuage, il se déplace. Ah ouais.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be
Non,
better if...
c'est nul.
Wait,
Je veux
that's
continuer.
it. We must rebuild it
Oui,
out
en
of
diamant.
diamond.
On va aller
Diamond,
miner. Allez.
everything. Yes,
Oui.
yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Merci, merci. Mais fermez la porte. Oh, délinquant. Oups. Je vais perdre des dégâts tout le temps.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
Oh, on se dépêche quand même. Je crois.
Oh, no, 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 no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Non. Bon, loading, ça veut dire que c'est pas encore fini. Il va créer encore de nouveaux textes. Ouais. À qui il a mémorisé tout ce qu'on vient de faire en gros. C'est ça que je veux dire. Je vous le dis, hein, c'est what the fuck comme jeu. On ne comprend mais rien du tout. Ouais, ça par contre j'aime bien.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love
Les
it.
portals bouffons.
You,
Et
trapped in a
cette radio.
glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired.
Mais,
I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Normalement c'est un portail qui se fait. Sur quel... Ah, c'est sur quelle fréquence? 85,2. Ce serait bien que ça existe. Réellement, cette musique. Même si je pense que ça existe.
It's a puzzle.
Non,
Critical
c'est un peu le
thinking,
but du jeu.
Stanley.
Je ferais peut-être un truc de ce genre là. Le genre portal. Faudrait que je pose la question en même temps à Darkio. Pour voir s'il le veut.
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wise.
Oui. Non, pas un trou. Ah, j'ai cru qu'il y avait un trou. Je suis où? Musique. Musique. Je veux de la musique. Où est-tu, musique? Oh, j'avais pas vu ça. Oh. Ah si, je m'en souviens. Si, j'avais vu ça. On va aller par là, même si ça change rien. Mais strictement rien. Voilà, que je vous le dis. Tac. Il y a de la lumière là-haut, c'est la seule lumière. C'était là combien de portes à nous? Je ne sais plus. Mais bon, on va y retourner. 427 apparemment. Oh. Je peux pas fermer. Bon, apparemment ça peut par là. Si j'ai fait un demi-tour, je me bute. Ah non, ça va. C'était par là.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Moi aussi, je peux. Mais pas trop. Merci. Bon, là, par contre, j'ai tout oublié ce qu'on vient de faire. Donc, faut recommencer. Bon, maintenant, un autre truc marrant. Et là, quand j'ai découvert ça, wow, c'était très bizarre ce qu'il disait. Et en même temps marrant. Allez, on va un peu
A soft
suivre.
wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Ensuite, on prend la porte de gauche.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ensuite, tac, on traverse.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Mais bon, on n'a pas que ça à faire. C'est ici. Room closet. C'est le seul qui a un nom. On va aller là-bas.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Non, je ne reviendrai pas. Je reste ici. Avec ma pince qui est en haut. Où mes clés à
There
moi
was
et ma
nothing here.
pince.
No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to
Si,
still be
il y a une
here.
raison. C'est que tu finisses tout ton dialogue sur ici. Bah, tout ton dialogue
It was
ici.
baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As
Si
it
je fais quelque
is,
chose.
he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Si je fais quelque chose, je regarde les étagères et je me mets accroupi. Je me mets dans un coin.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why?
Non, je suis pas
Please offer
debout,
me
c'est
some
pas debout.
explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Je te fais la gueule. Je boude. Je suis dans le coin.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favourite."
LOL
I
XD.
hope your friends find this concerning.
Ils ont bien I. Inquiétant. Ça fait
Stanley was
inquiétant.
fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He
Stanley.
probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money.
Oui,
Also,
je sais
Stanley
pas,
is addicted to
pas
drugs and hookers.
La drogue? Non.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead.
Ouais, je suis mort.
You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Okay.
Ah, second player, it's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you.
Ah bon? Bon, moi perso, je retourne ici.
You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Voilà, il dort un peu. Bon, à partir de là, il dit pas rien. Donc on peut se barrer.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
On dit... Non, on monte. Cette partie-là, elle est trop longue. Non, 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 non. 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 D'où c'est fermé? C'était ouvert la dernière fois.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Pas comme si tu me l'avais dit. Oh non, pas du tout. On est pitié le bouton. Bon, c'est pas tout, mais bon, ce serait bien qu'il se dépêche un peu.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Je sais plus. Ici c'est long, mais en plus on finit du côté là, donc je peux en finir.
Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Ah oui, merde, j'ai repassé. C'était ici sorti et là autre chose.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Ouais, et alors j'aime bien avoir une mort. Au moins je sais que je meurs. Ouais, dans un chariot. Oh, mais avant tout, Claudine, encore. Pouf. Allez, on se dépêche, on se dépêche, on se dépêche, on se dépêche. On se dépêche, on se dépêche. Voilà. Ouais. Aïe. J'avais dit, je suis tombé dans un chariot. Voilà.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Je suis là, attention à la mort. Voilà.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
C'est de côté. Stanley Parable.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Oh non, pas là.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Entre les portes, voilà, les ordi, les portes, comment elles sont, mon bureau, les boutons qu'on verra après, qu'on ne regarde point, donc on a déjà vu quand même. C'est pas le même bouton, ça on l'a pas vu, on regarde pas. Là, oh, ça on peut parce que j'ai jamais vu. Ça non plus. Vidéo. Alien Base. Non 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 non. Et si attends, tac. Je me mets ici, vous mettez pause, voilà. Et vous lisez, pareil pour là. Moi c'est juste que j'ai déjà lu. Tac, voilà. Je vais passer où? Le téléphone. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, après. Voilà. Et ça prend. Ensuite, je capte au lift. Ok. De toute façon, ça me dit rien. Donc si ça me dit rien, ça veut dire que je vais pas vous montrer. Parce que je ne connais point. Ça, on dirait un peu portal. Très portal même. Ça, je connais, je crois. Pas sûr. On la connaît pas. On la connaît pas, je sais pas. On la connaît, on a vu. Ça, c'est les bureaux. Bah, le bureau du directeur. Là. C'est la narration. Bon, on va pas tout remonter. Allez, on se dépêche, allez. On a été à gauche. Tac, on a été ici en gros. Là, on a été à gauche. Là, on vient de droite. Maintenant, on fait que du tout droit. Tac, on n'a pas été ici. On avait été là. Et là. On peut pas montrer. Si. C'est des bureaux de toute façon. Et que mon bureau. En plus de ça. Ça, on peut. Croire. On vient de là. Bon, existe là. Voilà. Stanley Parable.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Eh ben non, je quitte. Comme tu me l'as demandé. Haha. Dans ton hook. Quitter. Comme elle l'a dit. Désolé pour le fond d'écran de merde. Mais bon, dommage qu'il change pas, hein, parce que j'en ai plein, le fond d'écran. Bon allez, salut tout le monde, on se retrouve pour la deuxième partie qui sera en décembre bien sûr, mais je sais pas quand, donc à la prochaine.